Hey everybody, welcome again to my virtual campfire and to today's video. I am the Wingman. Thank you for joining me today. If you're an RVer or you're interested in RVing, there are two terms that you need to understand. Both are important. One is out of trust. The other is lot rot. Now hang on, just last week, my friend Kevin Frazer shared what he sees may be lying ahead for 2024 for RV dealers. And if Kevin is right, it's not going to be a pretty year for a lot of them and their employees. In fact, Kevin believes a year from now, we'll likely see 20% less dealers who are currently making up about 40% of all RV sales. And that's huge. It also ties together with the two terms I just mentioned, out of trust and lot rot. Let's get started. So what happens to the person who purchased an RV from one of these dealers that you think might be going out of business? They got an RV, it's under warranty, they want some service work. What's going to happen to those people?
Well, the lack of warranty service is kind of the lesser of the problems. You got me to the explanation of that term, out of trust. Everything old has happened before. As recently as 2009, we had a recession then too. It was a recession, it wasn't like this, but there were some bad things. There was a place called McMahon's out on the West Coast, California, big dealer. And in the last month, I told people at Forest River, because they sold everything, that something really odd is going on there because they were selling RVs for like 40 cents, 50 cents on the dollar. And then after about a month, the gates were locked and they were gone. And there were literally hundreds of people that had paid for RVs and they thought they had title, but the perps were gone. Out of trust means that you have an RV, and very few of the RVs that I can look out the window and see belong to me or belong to Cheyenne Camping Center, the corporation. I have a great, huge, specialized loan called a floor plan, and they all reside on that floor plan. And whenever we sell those units, we have to pay them off at the bank, reduce the floor plan amount equivalent to the amount that is secured by that RV. And there are what are called floor checkers, think of auditors, and they come around to us on a regular basis to make sure that every RV that we have a loan outstanding on is not just in our possession, but is untitled elsewhere. It is free and clear. It hasn't been sold. We still own the money until we get it sold. What the McMahon's place did, and you got to watch out for it, and I'd like to say there's a simple way to do this, and there was 30 years ago, but the banks thought that was inefficient, so they stopped doing it that way. And I know I'm speaking in tongues, but here we go. There's no real clear way to trust whether you're buying an RV that's going to be yours in yours name alone. In the McMahon case, the banks asserted their claim. People would say, but we paid for that RV. And the bank said, we haven't been paid. McMahon's had no right to sell it to you. They didn't have title. Very odd stories came out during the ensuing trials, legal proceedings. People didn't know if they had their RV or were ever going to own their RV. People lost a lot of money. But the people that, how can I put this, that were stubborn, that were resolute in their assertion that they were swindled by McMahon's, the California courts ruled in their favor eventually, but it went on for a really long time and people didn't know. It was a pretty awful experience. Now, you want to avoid that experience. And then your listeners are going to say to me, well, how can I avoid that? It used to be you could avoid it because if you said to the selling dealer, surrender to me the certificate of origin for a new one or the title for a used one that doesn't have any marks of indenture on the back of it and transfer it to me. Well, that worked in 1979. That worked in the 1980s. That worked most of the 90s. But then the bank said, it sure is costing a lot of time and effort to make sure these titles get from here and there and in a timely fashion. And so we're just going to let the dealers hang on to the title and we're going to trust them.
Mm.
That's probably why the California courts ruled against the banks in this particular case. I can vouch that you won't be in trouble. Our protocols here, if you say we want to buy that particular RV and we're coming to see you from North Carolina, if you are coming within a month, we don't even want a deposit from you. We don't have you sign anything, you pay anything until you get here, you inspect and accept the goods. And in these tried times, if you want to talk before you sign something or pay for something, if you want to talk to myself or my brothers, who will say, we've been here since 1966 and we assure you everything is on the up and up, we'll be here to do that. That's the best I can do. But if you're dealing with one of the big chains and things go south, you might be talking to a lawyer from Florida or Illinois or California, and you're not talking to a dealer principal or anybody that's even in charge. There are people that were associated with that last month sellout at McMahon's that just plain went missing.
Okay, you've covered the ones that have recently purchased the RV. What about if I purchased it in the last year or two from a dealer that is no longer there, and I need service work?
You're going to have to rely upon the manufacturer. Honest to God, Forest River is doing everything in their power. You know Peter Legal, you know who he is. He has vowed to make the best quality RVs and support them after. Biggest problem that he has, the biggest problem the industry has, is we don't have a franchise agreement. We don't have an agreement like the car guys got where we can force dealers who didn't sell the product. Well, first of all, you force the dealer who sold it to service them as well. But then that one goes away, like McMahon's, force them to take care of our other customers because the manufacturer wants to preserve their goodwill. They spent money and time developing that goodwill. They don't want it to go completely to pot
Right.
because some dealer screwed stuff up so bad. We take care of ours and we take care of everything that Forest River asks us to take care of. And we're right on Interstate 80, the main trunk line, so we see a lot of stuff. I'm sorry, but your listeners, if you've gotten into a situation and you might have bought from a really reputable dealer that then was acquired by one of these big chains that was planning to go public, but then that went down and you're stuck, call Forest River. I don't know how it works at Winnebago. I don't know how it works at Thor. Call Forest River and they will try to get this resolved with you. Well, we've always been able to take care of anybody that's in the US or Canada. We can't do a bloody thing in Mexico, so don't go to Mexico and have something break.
Okay, I've got
We might as well cover the other term because it dovetails.
Yeah. Let's talk to me. You wanted me to remind you about lot rot. I know what it is. I know.
About.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about it right now, and it sounds real bad, and it's pretty awful. When an RV sits around at a dealership, of course it's weathered, and of course people pull the knob the wrong way, but other things happen. And they especially happened in 20 and 21. You can't get a part from the manufacturer because the state of Michigan is shut down for COVID. So you go and you borrow it off the stock unit you have to make sure your customer's taken care of, but you don't remember to flag or tag it or order the new part. Lot rots when they look like hell because they're dirty. They act like hell because parts have been swiped. We don't allow any parts to be swiped that are of a critical nature. Safety. When you, and I know you're aware of this, when you read about an RV that immediately upon transfer to the new owners, the running gear fell off at 70 miles an hour or it burst into a ball of flame. 3 years later, you'll read the story after it's wound its way through the courts, and it was because some critical part had been swiped and it hadn't been replaced. Who gets blamed? Manufacturer. Was the manufacturer at risk? That might be possible, but let's say it was a critical part missing on the running gear. These things aren't carted in on a railroad car. They are driven in, towed behind a truck. So you know that that part was there when it left the manufacturer. When you get a report of an axle falling off a brand new trailer, that part was swiped at the dealer level. That's lot rot. But lot rot leads to something else, and we better cover that. Because I've got divisions at Forest River that have done this to us, and I'm sure that other companies have this. When they get to be a certain number of months old, that is, from the manufacturer's perspective, they don't count it from the date it was sold to an owner. When it gets for this purpose, when it's a certain number of months from its date of manufacture, typically 24, but it can be different, it no longer has a cosmetic warranty. What do I mean by a cosmetic warranty? Well, if there's a cut in the outside vinyl graphics or a tear in the upholstery or some molding is falling off, they're not going to cover that. And so, because the manufacturer is not going to take away the mechanical warranty, because that's the vendor's also responsible for that. The people that made, say, the air conditioner, they still have a full mechanical warranty, which is 1 or 2 years, but they don't have a cosmetic warranty. And so if you buy something that's been on a dealer's lot for a couple of years, you are reliant upon the dealer to make sure that all that little stuff is fixed and all those swiped parts are put back in and put back in correctly. Now we do that. We do a double prep on everything that leaves here, and we don't require you to pay for it until you've inspected and make sure it's okay. We do that during the orientation. We're teaching how to work everything. If we ship one to a customer who's not coming here to pick it up, that's usually somebody that's done business with us before, so they already trust us. But I'm telling people you should mostly come here and get it so you can inspect and accept. But other dealers, it's not just that they've allowed lot rot to happen, and they don't necessarily disclose that the cosmetic warranty is not going to happen. It's that they don't have anybody on their staff anymore because they laid off 85% of them last December that can bring it up to snuff. They just say, you're getting a hell of a bargain. Pay us this much. And if they don't intend to pay it off at the bank, that's the other problem, being out of trust.
Can you mention the who laid off 85%? Or
I'm not going to do that. They're litigious.
okay, I know. You're so
There's
direct.
such a thing. There's such a thing as tortious interference, and you can't be saying things about people that might affect their business. Now, Camping World is a publicly traded corporation, and the things that I talk about that they've done are quite readily available in their quarterly reports.
Yeah,
By the way,
their
year end for 2023 is set to be divulged on February 20. Mark your calendar.
It'll be interesting. I love listening to those investor calls, where the questions.
Oh, yeah. He's been Marcus Lemonis has been asked 4 times over the years, what percentage of repeat business do you have? That is to say, if somebody buys an RV from you, what percentage come back and buy another one from you? And he always does the politician answer. I don't have that at hand. I'll have to get back to you on that. And he never does.
So now that you understand about a dealer being out of trust and about lot rot, I'll guarantee you this. You now know more than 90 to 95% of everybody who RVs. So thanks to Kevin Frazer as always. All right, here's a question. Can you see why the giant chain stores wish this man would just go away? Maybe just sell out and take the money, or if nothing else, just shut up. But you know what? He's not going to shut up. Neither am I. I hope that when you buy your RV, before you make your final decision, that you will give my Wingman approved dealers like Cheyenne Camping Center an opportunity to earn your business. They really are the best of the best. They are. You'll find a link to them in the description of this video down below. I hope you'll subscribe to this channel, give the video a like, and share it with others who may find it useful. I am the Wingman, doing my best to help you avoid making mistakes by connecting you with people of integrity. Be safe, have fun, play nice, and you know what? Don't leave your good manners at home. I'll see you in the next video.